Brenda J. Lilly here with the Bridge Artistic Network. I wanted to put out a small disclaimer before we launch into today's video. I am not a licensed therapist. I am just a fellow creative artist who hopes to encourage, engage, and hopefully empower other creative artists to go out and live their art dream. Okay, here we go into today's video. I hope you enjoy it. Good Monday morning, everybody. Brenda J. Lilly here with the Bridge Artistic Network. And it is June 23rd. Time for another Monday morning kickstart. If you like this video, and I hope you do, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me. But most importantly, share it with everyone you know so that we can all keep on becoming who we were created to be. All right, onward and upward. I will see you on the flip side. Well, good Monday morning, everybody. Brenda J. Lilly here, and it's time for our Monday morning kickstart. I've got a big old cup of coffee. I'm ready to rock and roll, and I hope you are too. I want to talk today about finding clarity. What does that mean? And how do we do it? So, when a time of confusion, disruption, change, indecision, shifting, whatever you want to call it, comes to us. And it will come to all of us, Henny Penny, because we're humans. And life, as we know, is all about change. And sometimes that change can really send us flying, like, especially if the change was unexpected, um, and is pulling us out of our comfort zone and making us feel unsettled or insecure or unsure of what is coming next. We're all then we what do you do? What do you do when you face moments of disruption? Let's call it that. Because change is very disruptive, and it can be disruptive to both just your physical being, so where it is you are in time and space, and what it is you do for a living in your life, whatever. But it can also be emotional and mental disruption, right? And so it causes a sense of, I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. I don't know what comes next. I was talking with a friend last night, and we were talking about reinvention, how interesting it is to me that certain people I know seem to be able to reinvent themselves like butter, like nobody's business, right? If the winds of change start to blow and you feel like you're supposed to pick up and go over here, or you feel like something is changing and you need to go with it, but it's going to change everything. It's going to change life as you know it. That there are some people who come to that easier than others. And I said, I know people who outright refuse to reinvent themselves. And I'm sad for them because they're hanging on to things that were instead of reaching out for things that are to come. And they're staying stuck. And they're staying stuck for multiple reasons. I've had people say, "Well, I'm too old to change." Really? Because I think change happens no matter what age you're at. I think the changes as we get older shift a little bit and perhaps are smaller. Although I don't know because I'm not there yet. I don't know if you are at that age where you are, heading towards what the last few years of what you think is life and what we all believe life expectation to be. let me know. Hit me in the comments and talk to us about what change seems to bring now for you in this stage of life. I can speak to the life I've lived. I'm 55, and so I can speak to this much of life as I know it. The changes that I've gone through and the reinventions of myself that I've done are have been fairly large, and meaning that they've moved me from place to place, not just from one city and a state to another city and a state, although I've done that. They've moved me across country, they've moved me across cultures, they've moved me across the ocean, they've moved me from career to career. I mean, I think I've changed careers now 4 or 5 times. And it's so interesting to me because I had a friend of mine who's my age who said, "Well, I'm too old. I won't be hired anymore because I'm too old." And I said, "So what do you do now?" In my mind, I make my own opportunities. In their mind, there were no opportunities. And that's crazy to me because life, no matter what age you are, and again, I only have this amount of life that I've lived, but life is always full of opportunities. Life has opportunity for us, but we have to decide to reach out for it, to make ourselves aware of the opportunity and then go after that opportunity, even if it's something that's completely out of left field and doesn't seem like it would be something we would choose. If the door opens to us, why wouldn't you walk through? Just because it's not where you thought you would be headed? That seems like a choice of sitting still and hoping nothing changes, but everything changes all the time. And so I think especially artists need to learn how to roll with that change and go with that change. Not just especially artists, but you have my heart. You're who I speak to on a daily and a regular, and so I just want to encourage us that when we're in these times of disruption and change, to embrace the new thing, to stow our judgment about what should be, what could have been, what should have been, where we think we should have been at by this age, by this time in our lives, that we stow all of those expectations and we reach out for the new thing that is offering itself up to us for whatever reason. I also want to talk about, so there's that part of the disruption is to sort of unstick yourself from the what was so that you can start to reach out and start to move towards what is to come. Believe in yourself enough to reinvent yourself into what it is being offered now to you. Air conditioners coming on because it's going to be 95 today. So I'm going to talk a little bit louder. I want to talk about the idea of clarity. So many of us sit and wait for clarity. That's not wrong. So don't hear that in my voice or tone. I think it's important. And in fact, I did it myself during this season of disruption and transition that I've just been through and in some ways are still going through. I sat with the disruption for a while. Not a long while, but long enough to get wisdom and sort of see the forest for the trees, if you will. So that I didn't just pay attention to this moment right here, but I got to see a little bit more of the big picture of what this disruption was bringing to me, what this disruption had to offer. I talked to a couple of people. I prayed a lot. My cup today says pray. And I sought the Lord and I sought clarity. But there comes a point in time in the disruption segment of change where you have to put your fear aside, put your desire aside for things not to change. You know, I was in a really comfortable spot. I was really sort of flowing with life where I was, and I did not expect this huge disruption to my life. But it came. So I took a couple of weeks to sit with it, to adjust to it, to embrace it. And then I started making plans to go with it. To go with it. And that is where the faith component of this journey through disruption to clarity comes. But I didn't get clarity before I started moving, before I started embracing. There is an action part of finding clarity that we must do. Staying stuck in our chairs, staying glued to what is and what has been, hanging on to all of what it is we have with a death grip will never give us clarity when the door of disruption opens for us. And I don't think, so I just said the door of disruption. I don't think disruption is a bad thing. I don't. Disruption is it's a radical change, right? It's a shifting. It's a disturbance and it feels like a problem. But I think it's a problem to be solved. It's an issue, perhaps even a tissue issue. And so grab a box of Kleenex and start blowing your nose, but also then wash your hands, get up off the couch, and start moving in the river that disruption has brought to you. Because there is an ebb and flow to this cycle. And as long as we don't stay stuck like a rock in the middle of a rapid that is just getting pummeled with the water of disruption and change that is rushing by us. If we decide, I'm going to be a pebble that just sort of goes with it, clarity will come as we go, as we do. I'm not saying run ahead, so don't seek wisdom. Like I said, I sat with it for a bit and I prayed and I sought wise counsel and I made sure this shifting, this change wasn't just something that I was pushing forward like, oh, this is my agenda. No, so many doors of disruption opened up at this one moment. I knew it was right in my soul, in my spirit. I knew it was what I needed to do. And when there is that thing inside of us that says, yes, this is it, this is the new thing, this is where we're headed, That is all the clarity you need to get going. You don't need to know the entire staircase, the entire journey. You don't need to know the end from the beginning. You need to know your next step on this journey. And once you get to that next step, you need to know the next step on this journey. You don't need to know the entire path. You don't need to see every single thing that's coming. In fact, I think sometimes if we actually got what we were requesting in some of our prayers, in some of our desperate moments of prayers, show me what I'm supposed to do. Show me where I'm going. Show me the plan. If we knew the whole plan, most of us would probably run screaming into the night. I certainly would never had gone to some of the places I've gone, knowing what I know now, knowing what I've gone through and what I went through, and how much perseverance and struggle, but also good and glorious things. I would have missed out on all of the glorious things, on all of the amazing people. So I don't want to know the whole path. And I would suggest none of us do, really. We need to know the next step. When the door opens and we didn't kick it down, when that door opens sort of sovereignly on its own, right? Our only job is to walk through. Even if it is so disruptive to the life that we're living. I'm not saying do damage to your family. I'm not saying do damage to anyone, including yourself. But sometimes change takes us, sometimes this door of disruption that opens changes our life radically. And that does come with a level of hardship and pain. Letting go is hard. Change is hard. We've talked about this, I think, ad nauseum. But clarity in the midst of disruption does not come by sitting still. Clarity comes in moving with the disruption. Hanging on, for me, to the hand of God and going gaily through that door of disruption and seeing what is next on the journey of this life. So I encourage us all, don't think you're going to find clarity sitting still. Get up on your 2 feet and get moving. Go on the journey. It wouldn't be called a journey if it didn't require our action. And so, don't plant your feet. Get your feet planted on the ground and then start walking forward to that door that's open for you. And see what comes next. I promise you, clarity will come. And you will have those aha moments that are so good that you don't want anything, you wouldn't desire anything to shift or change, even though it was disruptive to your entire existence. That's where I'm at today. All right, that's all I have for us today. Walk through the doors of disruption, go with the flow, and go to your next step, and you will find clarity. Don't be a rock in the middle of the stream, getting in the middle of the rapids, getting pummeled because you refuse to move with the flow of disruption and change. Be a pebble, float, go with it. All right. Have a great week. Be blessed as you go, and I will see you again next Monday. Hey, thank you so much for watching our video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, subscribe. What are you waiting for? All right. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye.